Hi, everyone that is coming in slowly. Welcome to Surface Interval.
Ruge.
Ya empezó. ¿Y cómo los ven?
Ya empezó. No, ahí van escribiendo en los comments. Hola, mis queridas. Hey, guys. Yo tengo el Facebook abierto de lado para ir viendo más o menos. Bueno, que lleguemos a 10. Bueno, llegamos a 10. Iba a decir que lleguemos a 10 y arrancábamos, pero hemos llegado a 10. Así que, bienvenidos a todos. Sorry, are we going to speak English, no? Actually.
English.
Se me hizo muy natural el español. Shall I start, Lo?
Yeah, of course.
Bueno, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us again on another edition of Surface Interval with Amancay. Today we are having Rose Molina as our guest, but not only as our guest, but our friend, our instructor, our family, and everything in Mexico. So it's an honor for us as well to have her. And it's much more fun when it's that with people like we know so much and we are so familiar with. We're going to speak today about a very interesting topic. We are going to let Lucre and Rose mainly develop this topic. Otherwise, it would be too many heads in the idea, which is a topic which Amancay's run through. So I guess that the best people to talk about it are Lucre and Rose in this aspect. Hope you enjoyed a lot. Lucre is going to give the introduction of what are we going to be, se le fue Rose. What are we going to be talking about? And then Rose is going to develop it a little bit more from her experience and from her observation. And then we're all going to try to debate a little bit. Please feel free to share your experiences. What are you doing? And if you've ever felt anything of what we are going to be talking about in the water,
I just fell for a moment.
Cool. So yeah, hope you all enjoy this topic. Stay with us, stay tuned, because it's going to be really good.
Hi everyone, how are you? Well, first, before we start developing the topic, for everyone that is not that familiar maybe with Rose, we just want to give her the voice to introduce herself. She is our instructor trainer at Amancay Freediving, and we'll let her give you a quick overview of her CV because we can stay talking about her for a long period of time. And we want to jump into talking about fearness and awareness and everything that we have for today. But before that, we want to give you the intro and the chance of meeting Rose and why is she here today with us.
So it's a really pleasure to be here, finally with the girls. Proud of being here and happy about sharing this subject that has been fascinating us since we met. I think that's one of the reasons, because we got connected to like almost 5 years ago, is because this way that we think about freediving as a beautiful tool of growing and connection and learning, no? Very quickly. So I am a professional dancer. I used to dance since I have memory of me moving. So it's been always moving. Like when I was 3 years old, I started with classes, and I did university. So I started in a conservatory when I was 9 years old. For 7 years. So when I was 17, I moved to Germany to keep on study 5 more years of university. So it's a long time of university studies and dance studies. And I was just fascinated about the movement. And that's one of the things that like my passion is still nowadays is like, and learning also to teach, you know? So pedagogics was one of the things that I learn, and that took me So I live in Europe for many years. I'm not going to say years anymore. So, and I dance in many companies, and somehow I got into yoga. Cutting the story short, first of all, I got into yoga more like a beautiful and more kinder way to get ready for dancing. Because as dancers, we are used to be really hard on our bodies and minds and hearts. And yoga, I find like, oh my God, this doesn't hurt. Like, what a change, no? How interesting. So I was not yet, I was 22 or something like that. So yoga wasn't as big as it is nowadays. And so it was more like the physical, but very quickly, the yoga takes you. You don't need to do anything. Yoga takes you into the awareness, into the getting deeper, and into your breath, into your emotions, into other aspects. And that's completely fascinates me. The fact to discover that you can be kind with yourself and that you can learn without pain. It was a very interesting thing when you have been bleeding your feet for so many years, literally. And I got also into yoga teaching very quick. I studied for like 4 years with a Swami. So it was all tradition of yoga studies, that you start cleaning the temple, working through your egos, because I was like, oh my God, I'm like a professional dancer. I can do the handstand, you start cleaning the temple. And it was very good. And it's very important. And I think all of us has to go again and again in life through those ego break, to remember that we are all, that we don't know. We don't know anything really. And then I was like, teaching yoga, living in Thailand. No, I was in India for a year. And then I I went to Thailand for a little injury that I had. I was living in Europe, and I took a year of break in India, and as everyone knows, that changed lives. And one day, first day in Thailand, in my beautiful Koh Tao, which is the place I love in this earth most, my friend forced me a mask on my face, which I never wanted to do before. Like, I don't like a mask. And, oh, no, I love the ocean. Thank you. I like to swim. And it was like, really like, if you don't do it, you have to walk back. And it was like an hour of walk in a very bad tray. And my knee wasn't working. So I said, okay, a mask without a snorkel. And I fell completely in love. I was literally crying when I could see the water, what like underneath, and all the, Thailand, all the fish and the corals, and hearing myself. And it was just such a joy. It was so profound in my life, because I've been in India inquiring about going back to big stages and the competitive, and I really wanted to find a different path, with more kind, more in contact with nature, and that was the answer. So, cutting the story short, next day, so same night, I met Monica Ganame, which is the first beautiful mermaid I met, and started learning freediving. It was like a fall completely for freediving, as probably all of you have, so you know the feeling. And that's it. It was like everything was coming together. So first the dancing, the movement, but then what you can do in the water, and then from yoga, that kindness and that awareness, all that in the water is so much more powerful and faster. So that silence, which I could find in my mind after so many years, trying so many meditation techniques, because yes, my mind is crazy. And like getting into the water when you hold your breath and finding peace and finding silence is for me such a gift that, of course, I wanted to share that too with people, and I start teaching very soon as well.
Nice.
I'm gonna go to Mexico, and here I am with Amancay for 5 years. Dun, dun.
Since the very beginning. That's insane.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit of, like, I like to hear the story from a very personal way, and it's not like what you went doing, if not how you went feeling through the process, and that's really nice. And I think it goes a lot hand by hand of what we're going to be talking today about, you know, like being aware of how we go feeling through the process. Yeah. So today,
Absolutely.
for me,
your mom is here, Rose, so you know. Your mom is watching, just ringing.
Mamá, ay, mamá no entiende nada, mi mamá. She doesn't speak English.
So from the very beginning of this project, when surface interval came up, Cande, one of the first things I told her that we wanted to talk about was about fears and psychology and understanding, going a little bit deeper into non-the-traditional topics of freediving. Yeah. So to be honest, like for me, fear was presented like, once I observed fear, I always thought about it like it has a bad connotation for some reason in our society. You know, like we are used to looking at fear as something bad. When your kids at school, is like, if you have fear, you're like the coward one, you know. While and that connotation, I think that brings up a lot through our life. And this brought me to understand a lot of of us humans, how we behave, how we act. And the first place where I could see it was like, of course, on me, but I could observe it more clearly was in the water. The moment that I started teaching, I started to understand way more, what did this mean? You know, what did this mean for my students? What did this mean? Like how the water acted as a big reflect on it. But what surprised me the most of it is how people cannot be aware or call it fear. We will call it anything else before saying, I'm scared or I have fear of, you know. And water in that sense brings it a lot in. And water in that sense brings it a lot in. And what I got fascinated was by like starting to look at it on my students and teach from another point of view, trying to observe if what my students were feeling was fear or a technical challenge, you know. And I started to discover like that fear, and that also took me to look at it on our personal relationships a lot, you know, like in our day-to-day. And that took me also to see how fear is related with judgment, how important like fear and judgment go hand by hand, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be scared, or we don't want to say that we have fear because we're scared to be judged by it, or we are judging ourselves by that, you know. So all of that in freediving, like in the water itself, it came out really clear. Like not only talking about going deeper, because every dive, if it's 5, 10, 50 or 60 meters, is deeper for us. Like every person that is overcoming that challenge is going deeper. In scuba diving, if you're looking down and you're just starting, like that anxiety or anything, that presents a challenge, you know. And even like taking it out of there is like, most people in this world will tell you that they're competent swimmers, that they're comfortable in the water. But if you push anyone that feels that is comfortable in the water, most people, if you push that person in water deep enough not to stand up or on the open water, you will see that they will panic. But they would have never ever said that they're scared. You know, they're scared of not having the control on an environment that we don't know. And all of that is what have brought me to observe it deeper and deeper into what are our fears, what do they cause our fears, and how can we observe them. And this is what it brings up today, all this this chat that we will be having of how this translates into the water and how it translates into our lives. Yeah. So this is from where I want to share that fears came in and how important the aware of fearness is, and that fear is not something bad. Thank God fear exists, because as we like to say with Rose, if not, we would be jumping everyone from the balcony trying to discover we can fly, you know? We wouldn't probably be here. Yeah. So well, I'll give the word to Rose to continue over with the topic that we're talking about.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Luke, because it's exactly, yeah, I mean, we know we are very synchronized in this subject, and I'm so agree with that. And the importance for me that speaking about fears and emotions resonate with all of us so much, because we don't really learn as kids to deal with our feelings in a healthy way. We develop these limiting beliefs that keep us from achieving our growth. So we're going to be talking about emotions, because fear is as well an emotion. I'm sorry, I don't know what is going on. It's too bad. They're going to stop. Thank you. So there is a tendency that I wanted to observe that is about happiness, no? That we should be all happy and positive and love and peace, no? And it's great, but the reality is that there are so many other emotions in our everyday life. So if a kid tells you, "Mommy, I'm scared because my puppy is sick," if you say, "It's okay, everything's gonna be fine, don't worry," and all those things that we tend to say to just don't deal with the things, that kid not gonna learn that there is basically what I want to say with this is in facing our emotions, we can learn so much to deal with the real world emotions, because emotions are beautiful. Emotions are the feel of the soul. No, so that's why I love Tantra, because it's like about experiencing and daring to feel. And fear is one of the biggest teachers, because in the fear is like somehow close our maximum potential, but we need to be very brave to see it. So unfortunately, we live in so much stress. Now, stress is a big part of our lives. When we feel stressed, the chest is really contract. No, you have adrenaline racing to your bloodstream. So it's a really uncomfortable feeling. Well, you all have feeling. I don't need to explain it. So this stress, this constant stress, triggers all the time these primal fears. And take us directly to unsupported behavioral patterns that we develop as survival techniques when we are kids. That's why for me, like in schools, like it should be so important to teach kids to deal with emotions and the thoughts, because it's paramount. It's where we develop our armor and techniques to deal later in life. And so with all the sensations, we're carrying on living, kind of thinking that it's normal to live in this anxiety. So what happens is once we're in the water, and this beautiful mother, we are not breathing, so even more, we're not breathing, we're holding the breath. None of those reactive behavioral patterns work, because as soon they arise, you start feeling uncomfortable, you start feeling stress, so your dive is not going to be possible. So that's why freediving so quick helps you to face or to work on kindness and compassion to yourself. So that I find that so interesting and beautiful. If we want to use freediving as a tool, like breathing is, and at the end we're going to be giving you strategies to overcome all these fears that we're going to be talking about, you know. So the important thing is to stop denial, suppressing, repressing the emotions, and then we can break through the barriers that keep us locked. So that's what I feel like freediving is a way to break through that barrier. So the first thing we have to do is give us permission to feel, because unfortunately sometimes we don't do it, and we stay to, it's like a way of safety, So we're going to talk later about fearing our fears. So to don't feel that uncomfortable feeling, we just decide not to feel. We get numb. We could get numb through life. So we have to allow ourselves the experience to all the emotions, even fear. As Lucre very well said, emotions are not good or bad. They are. We're gonna observe emotions right now as information. Let's see it as simple as that. They're information, and this information gonna help us. So we have a tendency that we identify with our emotions, So it's like, I am stressed, or I am angry, or it's like I am upset. So the wording that we use is paramount to have a deeper understanding on what is happening. Because if we put this emotion in this wider way, like I am stressed, it's really not much that I can do. So my anxiety just gonna grow. If we can be more specific on identify the real feeling. So, okay, just I'm noticing an uncomfortable sensation of disappointment, or I'm noticing that I'm tired. So the emotion can give you the pathway. I can do something about being overwhelmed, something about being tired. If I put it into stress, that is, what's going on? If you put it as stress, then it's so difficult to deal. So that's one example. Okay, so for everyone following till here, where are we going? So we are a little bit taking the onion out, putting the onion of the things that we don't really want to talk, normally. So what is fear? So fear, we already said that it's just an emotion, information is not good or bad. Fear itself, it's called fear, all these companion emotions that we put together with fear, So fear is encapsulated in the amygdala. The amygdala is deep in the brain. There are in the two lobes. And it's part of the reptilian brain, sorry. So it's one of the first brain that we develop. So we can see fear as an instinct as well as an emotion. So there is this is instinctive part of fear, which is what Lucre was saying, why we don't jump out of the balcony, right? So when you're confronted with fear, you have two options, right? Fight or flight. We learned that in the school. We know that we see the lion is coming, what you would do, right? So that's pretty easy. I mean, I would run, or, like you can fight the lion, but each of these reactions affect the whole organism through the autonomic nervous system. So it's like, boom, that's why adrenaline makes you like, I might be even faster than the lion. We become like these little superheroes in that particular moment. Later on, we feel a lot of consequences of that rush of adrenaline because it's not very healthy in our system. So some of our fears have this basic survival value, which is important. But other fears, however, are learned reflexes that can be weakened or relearned. And that's what we're trying to get into, like how we can relearn these which strategies we can change the way that we react to fear. So one thing is when a lion comes, of course, or like I'm talking about like this moment when you just instinctively have to respond. But most of the time, fears are this ancient feeling caused by the anticipation of something, like an imagined event or an experience. It's, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to fly. That's me right now. No, what about? No. So it's like you are putting stress of something that it lays in the future that is not even really happening and might never happen really. There is where most of our anxiety leads. No, that's why stay present. No, stay present. Stay in the moment. And we say it again and again. It's all about your present. Because in the present, you can deal with these sensations. You can keep yourself calm. So we're going to cover, this is Dr. Carl Albrecht that divided fears into 5 main, so we call it primal fears. So how we put like all these emotions into like 5 different divisions, and we're going to talk about them together. So again, we are just putting that on you, getting insight. So first of all, and the most important is the fear of extinction. So the fear of death. No, there's existential anxiety. No, it's like my life, I guess. And here comes things like fear of darkness, of heights. No, if you go to the vortex of a building and you feel that, this is because you might fall. Or of course, fear of having a fatal disease, anything that puts your life in danger. So that's the first one. So like I invite you to start like as well, like this ideas as is introspective, like, oh, okay, I have fear of heights. Okay. So we start linking, that you that is your own work. It's your own work to figure this out. Then we have the second one is mutilation or bodily invasion. So this is when we have our body invaded, our boundaries invaded, or we're losing a natural function. That also could be. So we feel physically unsafe or under attack. So this is where this is a very normal one because the bugs, the spiders, like all this, the fear of animals is, because they can bite you or they can eat you or they can, that's like related to this. Needles, I don't want to get needles, or germs. Sorry for the people that is scared of germs right now. Even like avoid, like, and the thing is, when we start realizing this, we start understanding why we avoid to go to the dentist. Why there are things that we put like for later. I'm gonna deal with this later because I'm scared of it, and it's fine to be scared of it. But like again, putting understanding. The next one is like I need to just have a look here. Loss of autonomy. So here is the fear of being closed, immobilized, restrict, confined, trapped, or controlled by circumstance beyond your control. So this COV, blah blah, we not even want to talk about, but it's of course is going through a lot of our basic primal fears. So there is something that we cannot control. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the outcome. So claustrophobia, this is and people that fear social interactions like concerts and all that, or relationships, fear of commitment, fear of intimacy, poverty, aging, anything that's gonna make you feel that loss of autonomy. So I leave it. Moment, everyone checking.
A moment, and I want to invite everyone to assess what you've just said, and maybe write down, just express what you think you're afraid of. What is your biggest fear now? Like, as Rose explained all of that, what is your fear? So write it down, share it with us.
We're not done yet. We have 2 more. Very common. Very common. We keep on like cayendo fichas. We keep like. So the next one is separation. So the fear of abandonment. This is all of us. We have this fear, rejection, because we humans have this strong need to belong. We need to belong. So feeling ignored, feeling unwanted, not respected, even jealousy, like you feel that like you're gonna be separated for that person that you love. Of course, like this get into like an unhealthy way, because all this can be healthy or unhealthy. So we said already there is not good or bad, but it's healthy and unhealthy. So it's normal and it's beautiful to have like certain like care about not being separated for the person you love. But when that becomes to jealousy, is when we get into unhealthy behaviors. And it might all come from your mother, that she has to go to work or something like that. Not even like someone was really mean to you, but because of the particular situations that were in your life when you were a kid. It's kind of sad. And then we have ego death. So this is more like we all need to feel lovable and worthy of love. So all that, for example, fear of humiliation, shame. So very strong ones. Any mechanism that profound self-disapproval, that threatens the loss of integrity of the self. Now, all those things that make us very deep. Self-criticism or public speaking, failure. Now we have this fear of failure. So what other people think on me, for example, it's like all those are related to this ego death. It's like the person that you create in front of yourself and others. So these are the 5, So it's all like extinction, mutilation, a loss of autonomy, separation, and ego death. So when we are unaware, we are allowing these instant reactions to these memories of fear. So I get jealous, for example. But if we start to see fear as and all these companion emotions, okay, so fear and all of them as information, we can think about them consciously, and instead of evade and avoid the sensation, we can have a more clear understanding. When we are calm, we can articulate the origins of that fear. So that fear will be less frightened and will not control us. We can be controlled by our emotions, or we can experience our emotions. And this is where all this strategy, like, okay, how I do it, we will get there. And this is probably way more longer than an hour talk that we're going to deal here. But it's a life practice, And then, of course, we're going to have tools to help us. So how do we attend to fear and feelings and understand these unwanted behaviors? How that are stopping us to be this best version of ourselves. I mean, we're great. We're all great. But we are all aware that we can be better if we work and do all this self-introspection and self-work. And deal with the things that we might have avoided to deal in order to have better relationships with ourselves and others. So first of all, as a strategy, if you feel fear, take a breath. So breathing is like one of the most important tools we have, and helps a lot with fear. If you just base it, as soon as we start raising even the sensation of uncomfort, and we start controlling the breath, that's what we always say, like, I take a deep breath, because it is a very powerful tool. So we have to find the courage, of course, within ourselves to look deeper if we want to work on these things. Because we can just stay in the surface, but we're free divers, so we don't only stay in the surface, right? We go deeper, and that's what we're doing today. How we can use this fear to grow.
I would like to invite everyone that is watching to observe right now that we're going to be giving, like, as the chat continues, is how to relate this to your experience in the water. Which of these fears could you be calling your limits or your barriers today? Fear. Like, now that we understand what it is, could it be that the block that you're experiencing at any kind of depth, even at the beginning of your dive, or finding the comfort in water to overcome that, could it be fear what is stopping you of having comfort in the water, being able to equalize, going a little bit deeper, holding your breath for a little bit longer? Like, now as we continue, try to observe what do you feel it's your barrier, and maybe see if you can actually start calling fear right now. Which of these fears is the one that may be limiting you right now,
Exactly. And thank you, Luca, because you make me remember about, so a strategy that we normally use with fear is we find excuses. So that's the beauty about desafíos, about
challenges.
Thank you. So when we are facing a challenge, and then all these patterns start triggering inside of us, from going into a dive, or it's my deep dive, to taking an online course. I mean, like, all the aspects, because what we're talking to today goes through the whole thing. So we find an excuse. Oh, I'm too cold. I'm too old. I'm too whatever. No, so it's too far. So we in the water, we do the same. We use excuses that are so powerful. We're so good. We're such a masters on doing excuses, all of us. So that is where we need to be really humble, because challenge has if we go through the excuse, if we don't allow the excuse to be more powerful than our will or than our love, then is there, as Jodorowsky say, it's the magic zone. Like, you step out of comfort zone, which you have here your instructors talking about. Now, if you move that comfort zone, if you leave it, if you stay in the comfort zone, not much magic gonna happen. So that's why we're talking about all this, because in order to be the best version of ourselves, it might get a little uncomfortable. Doesn't need to be painful, but it might be uncomfortable.
Something in that sense that I always share is we need to move in the courses now. We need to move to our uncomforts constantly and consistently, because one day those uncomforts are going to become our comforts. And what was our limit before, such as in freediving, is perfectly designed, but I always say this is a life lesson even. But once your uncomfort is your comfort, now your limit will be your uncomfort, and it's not your limit anymore. So the idea for us and for I guess whoever sees it as we do, is pushing our limits from a place that we don't have to get to the limit to do it. No? So embracing all of those emotions, embracing all of that fear or not fear, and getting comfortable in the uncomfortable at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like the approach, that the approach we take about dealing. Exactly. I love, that's why Amancay, and we have this approach of loving compassion instead of, forcing you to get into
which
a
sometimes
number
you
of,
have, like it's a balance that we do between the pushing you when we need to, but not pushing you if we don't have to, or maybe sometimes even stopping you, because it's a game in those 3 layers that we need to kind of unwind in between.
well, and that's why many times we ask, or at least for me, when I work more with teaching and teaching instructors or deep, dealing with deep dive, is like, it's not about what happened in the dive, but it's like, how did you feel?
Yeah.
And then it's, like, how did you feel in that dive? Because we can also find the information we need. That I feel awesome. Actually, when I was at 30, for a moment, it didn't feel that awesome. Like, okay, why? Maybe I got tense. So these emotions are just such a great tool for us to work in freediving as well. It's like, again, information we use it. So anyway, so let's go to the strategies. So here to talk about breathing and awareness. So breathing is going to be the tool that ultimately takes us to awareness. So what is awareness? Awareness is this ability to know and perceive, to feel, to cognizant, the events. It's like being conscious of something. So being fully conscious of yourself, your surrounding, right? That's awareness. And it's a really beautiful state. It's beautiful. Once we manage to get there, it's just, it's healing. It's really nice.
I like to call awareness like observation without judgment.
Absolutely.
It's just for what it is.
Yeah.
Like observing, these are the sensations I'm feeling. It's not about anything else than the sensations I'm feeling, without judging them from where we come or where they will take us or what consequence that would have. Not just, okay, I'm feeling this. Then from there, we continue. But being aware is saying, okay, I'm feeling this. And as we were speaking, I'm seeing that slowly the guys are answering. They're doing the first step, that is being aware of, oh yeah, this actually, I may have fear of failure, or mine is fear of loss of autonomy, or mine is fear of failure, or getting into my head too much, So all of those is the first step of awareness. I'm feeling this maybe, and that with no judgment. Like that's for me personally when I like to describe awareness.
Absolutely. I was absolutely getting there. Thank you for that, because it's such an important part. And so difficult. I definitely was mentioning, maybe I mentioned it again, but so anyway, so let's get more practical. So how, the good news is there is a space between stimulus and response. So there is a space where, and this is space actually, the magic of time, that it can be short or can be longer, depending on our ability of awareness, or our, like sometimes if we, for example, if someone tells something to you that hurts you, and you straight away react and or then when you start working on yourself, the person told something that hurts you, but you got that moment, you got that space to understand, and maybe then you say something, or maybe then you just don't say something, and maybe then you understand that person is hurting, blah blah. Now that come all this spiritual part that I'm not going to get into it now, but we're going to use breathing to create awareness, to find that space. So that's why I was saying that breathing is the tool in order to reach the awareness. So first of all, we need the will to do it. So, and for that, we need to stop controlling and predicting the outcome. So letting go, so it's whatever happens is okay. That's sometimes so difficult. It's one of the most difficult part of awareness, because we start realizing the amount of trash that we have in our brains, in our minds, all the time. So judging, as Luke was saying at the beginning, not being judgmental is the hardest part. Anyway, so we have to basically go the risk to fail in life. It's like dare to fail, because we have all these things about not feeling worthy. So like we are worthy to try it. We are worthy the experience of feeling, or we have all these problems with shame and feeling that we're not good enough and all those things. So it's really like we have to find the courage to be imperfect and fully embrace the vulnerability as a strength. So that's, for me, is just so important, because vulnerability, if you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be aware of your shame, or be aware of your whatever is this, whatever is the sensation you're experiencing, there is where you can grow. That's why, like, I totally see vulnerability as a huge strength.
And that if we don't go through all of that either, of failing or being embarrassed or this and that, as you said, we don't end up growing at the end of the day. So yeah, as you were talking, growth was the word here. It was like growth, and then you said it. I was like, yeah. So take that in count whenever you're feeling like that every situation, every experience you're going through, it's for growth. And if it's repeating itself, is creating a pattern, it is for growth. Because at some point we will need to see that fear or that emotion that we are constantly putting off, maybe, or hiding or anything, and it will appear until we fix it, heal it, grow from it, or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's like we're this little seed. We're this little seed. We are a little seed, like we can see in Lucre's pancita right now. So we are this little seed that start growing, and we grow, hopefully till the moment we die. So we have this, if we want, we can keep on growing through our own life. And that's my mamita that is somewhere there. It teaches me every single day. Anyway, so let's see that we have found it, like we are finding our breathing, and we find that space. So as Lucre was saying, that then when we have that space, we have the ability to observe. So as my teacher, my yoga guru call it, is the witness. So you become the witness of your experience. So it's like someone that goes not to the normal ego mind, but goes beyond that ego mind. So you are able to observe. Okay, so I'm breathing in the water, and I'm experiencing this. So, and then of course, the first thing that the mind wants to jump in and do is to comment or judge. It's like because we are, it's all of us. That is what our mind do. That's the work of the mind. Think.
That's humanity, yeah.
Yeah, the mind has to think. It's a machine. It's the greatest machine of thinking, of creating thoughts, which are energy, which are movement, electricity, fire. So that takes a lot of energy, of course. So when we manage not to comment, not to comment, sorry, and judge, which again, as I said, it's going to be it's normal that it's at first because we have the tendency to do it. And it's a beautiful work to start realizing how much do we judge. Because living with that.
Even in thoughts, no? Just observe what you think as the first thing that comes to you when you see something.
See, exactly. Thank you for that, because that's what I'm talking about, observing thoughts as well as emotions. No? So the thought in the brain, not the emotion might come first in the thoughts. No? So like that's why emotion is such a pure information. Because I feel something and then my mind process that feeling and label it. No? So so we're observing the thoughts as well. But if I can go beyond, because thoughts, as we label, and we might label them wrong, emotions might be a more trustworthy information, data. So once we find that, so how we're going to manage not to comment and judge is with love and compassion. Now is when we really need to be kind. Accept, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel shame. It's okay to feel like just loving and self-love. And that is my particular experience. So like to learn to love yourself. It's been a huge thing for me through life. So loving yourself, that's okay. Accepting what you are, accepting what is happening without like being your punch. Because the thing is that unprocessed emotions do not disappear. So when we have these emotions that we're not willing to work on, they kind of they hide, they get really well into our system. And that's why we develop symptoms, or it's so difficult to change bad behavior or, like unsupported behavior, because it's so inside, so encrypted into your system that sometimes we need just more awareness and more time and more love and more compassion to find it. So introspection is a very important part, looking at ourselves. My cat. So just observing and accepting.
I want to take this. Sorry. I just wanted to take this to the water, guys. So just observing your sensations, what it's like, just to go playing the ping pong of putting yourself on that situation, the water, with everything that we're talking about. It's observing yourself just before that dive, while you're doing that breathe up from a third person perspective, like, okay, I may be a little bit nervous. It's okay. Or I may need a little bit more of time or less time, or maybe I do a shallower dive to be more and like just observe your thoughts. Observe if you're thinking, oh no, what if this happens or that happens? Or if you're actually on your breathe up, working on relaxing your body or not. Just that first observation to scan your body and see what your body's telling you that is going to come up. Like, what's your body telling you of how you're feeling right now? Sorry.
No, that's great. And also what is important here is that not before the dive we start having like a whole psychological process going on, which if it happens, why not? But so there is a moment for everything. So first is the moment in the water, ideally, we learn. That's why the breathing techniques are so powerful. And I'm going to get straight here. The reason, because we do a preparation, is to be in a state of awareness where we're not commenting, we're not judging, we're just having this beautiful sensation of being on the surface, getting ready for the dive. That is where we want to aim. Now, if there are emotions or thoughts rising that are not supporting that beautiful sensation, later on we can investigate.
Work.
Exactly. So it's so important to understand this recurring patterns. Where is it coming from? So why am I all the time finding this excuse? Or why all the time at 26, like meters, whatever. No, whatever is our path. But like we can work on that in dry or through life. And definitely use as like meditation or mindfulness practice or preparing for a dive. They might be places where you get information that if you're willing to see it, you can work with that later.
I think just to kind of resume what you said, the first thing, guys, a dive will start on your breathe up. See, this is something that we always use. Your dive starts on your breathe up, not once you started holding your breath. So what Rose is talking about, the breathe, do not judge, do not think when you're breathing, because you're starting to be in that moment, in that present moment that Rose is mentioning so much. And the next thing is that always remember the joy of it. Many times more in the water, we put ourselves in places where we forget the joy of why are we doing it, enjoying the dive. So at the end of the day, what we should be looking for is enjoying that trip, to down the water and up, or that dive, or whatever it is. Don't forget to enjoy, because if you are forgetting to enjoy, then why are we not enjoying anymore? See, just that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And no, that's everything is brilliant, because we're not saying like, and that's for me like Natalia Molchanova and the joy, talking, and my great teacher. But that doesn't mean that all your dives are going to be joyful. And so we're going to have as many good dives as bad dives, because as life is like this, we're joyful, we're happy, and sometimes we're not. So the thing is like how we work, or how much we want to learn from the dives that might not be so comfortable, or so we're not saying that all your dives going to be good, because that's not real.
But you can totally. And something to bring up from here actually is the fact of sometimes the same things that may happen in the dive will arise emotions afterwards. It's not only the beginning, but the dive itself will arise the emotions afterwards, where you can observe. So if you're not having such a good dive or something, then the important part of not having good dives is to observe why are we getting frustrated or mad or angry or this and that, so like twist it the other way, rather than seeing the emotion and then doing the dive as well. Whenever you do it, observe the dives, and then you can analyze the emotions that you said that.
Okay, so let's get into the breath. I know that we've been an hour already, so I'm gonna try to go I was going a little bit more scientific, but I'm going to try to be faster on that. So just basically talking about the power of breathing. So we know that breathing is our most vital and direct source of life. So it's prana, it's oxygen, it's all of that. And as well, a precious tool to have a healthy life. So more and more you are connected to your breathing, a better life quality you're going to have. That's like, I'm absolutely a believer on the power of breath. So the breath and the mind are interlinked, right? So the relationship between breathing and mental state is really important to control emotions, stress, of course, stress and anxiety. So just like to wrap that up. So when we slow down and pay attention to the breath, we have really positive effects on the body and mind. We all have experienced that, right? Like I guess you, some point, like have done a little bit of breath work, and straight away you feel the benefits. So we know that paced breathing exercises can focus both the attention and regulate the nervous system. And so breathing has not only an effect on the mind, but also in the nervous system. So here is an interesting fact, because for years they consider the breathing, so the brain stem was responsible for the process of breathing alone. So there are neuropsychology studies that found that paced breathing, so by paced breathing, I mean just like the awareness of breathing, also uses neural networks that go beyond the brainstem and are tied to emotion, attention, and body awareness. Okay, so no, all those things that we've been feeling, and we know it because we've been working in this relaxation and breathing, it has like a scientific backup. So by tapping into those networks, using the breath, it means that we gain access to a very powerful tool for regulating our process of stress. So that's why the breathe up, right? So it's like a regulation, not only of oxygen, because then we get in a completely different subject, but like we're talking today about emotions, like more on our emotional states. So I'm gonna just separate very quickly them in three kinds. So one is just rapid breathing. Okay, so rapid breathing, and show you what happens into the brain. So the rapid breathing activates the amygdala. The amygdala is the same place that also triggers fears. So quick, rapid breathing might trigger feelings like anxiety, anger, or fear. So just quick there. Then we have intentional breathing, so this paced breathing. Okay, so we are just putting the awareness without even changing, just putting the awareness into breathing. So there in the brain, we have an activation in the insula. Okay, the insula regulates the autonomic nervous system and is linked to body awareness. Okay, so this is key for relaxation. That's why when we're breathing, not only the mind gets calm, but also we are allowed to visualize our body. And then we have this attentional breathing. So when we really put attention, now like more, not just spacing breathing, but attentional breathing. So when that's happened, activates the insula and adverts the anterior cingulate cortex. So more of the brain is involved, and it's a region in the brain involved into the moment-to-moment awareness. So we activate the awareness. So it means that there is a link between the types of breathing, so rapid, intentional, or attentional, and activation in the brain structures involved in thinking, feeling, and behavior. Okay, so now clear that, like I try to be very fast into that for scientific part. So getting back to mindfulness, so being present, give us that space to see things more clearly and take control. So what I think, what I feel, and then what I do or say. So that's when we talk about breathing, connecting mind, heart, and action or worth. So mind, emotions, actions, or words. So that's just linked to being happy or being good with yourself. Because if you're feeling something and thinking something different, that creates unbalance. If I feel something and I think something, but I say something different, or I do something different, that also create imbalance, so unhappiness. So if in this beautiful space of awareness, and we can really be in tune, our feelings, what I feel, what I think, and what I do. So if I feel love, and I think, oh my God, I love this person so much, and I go and I give you a hug, that's make me good, not only you good, giving you my love. No, so awareness gives us that opportunity to really see if what our actions and words are in relationship with what we think, and that is in relationship of what we truly feel, which is like the first like the reality check is what we feel. If we don't feel good, it means that something is wrong, no? So breathing connects mind, heart, actions, and thoughts. And it gives a possibility that particular breathing strategies might be used as a tool to help people manage their thoughts, moods, and experiences. So first thing we have to do, what is the first thing we have to do is we slow down and pay attention to our breathing. So I'm going to invite you now to do a practical exercise with me. We're going to do a little like guiding, call it meditation or awareness exercise, to work a little bit on what we have been talking about. It's not going to be long. Like, let's call it, no? How long, girls? 5-10 minutes?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Whatever.
At this point,
Once we pass the 1 hour,
we need to leave. Yeah, we need to leave some space for the questions only.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, good. No, it's not. I'm not going to do half hour, which I love to, but no. Okay. So first of all, I want you to find a comfortable place to sitting, or you can lay down. Be comfortable. I don't mind that you're in a mega yogi position. Doesn't matter. It's more important for me right now that you're comfortable. That you can, if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, then you will close your eyes. Find that place comfortable. And just make sure that your body is soft. So let's start bringing straight that awareness into the body. What else I need to move in order to be comfortable? What I need to relax in order to be comfortable? Beautiful. And once we're gonna start slowly putting the attention in our breath, just by feeling the air going into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. You're not making any change, nothing, just noticing the air coming in and out. Slowly, you might start without wanting, but just feeling your belly, hopefully relaxed. So if the body, there is some tension, if there is some control in your diaphragm, just allow it to relax fully. Allow the breath to be natural, in and out. So start making each breath a little bit slower, each inhalation, each exhalation a little bit deeper. So we inhale, it's a little bit deeper. Exhale a little bit slower, just a tiny bit, just to find that really natural rhythm. So that rhythm you have before to sleep. And we're going to start putting the awareness into that little gap between inhalation and exhalation, between exhalation and inhalation. Allow that beautiful space. It's a moment that we are full, that moment that we are empty. Deeper you go into the awareness of your breath, deeper you go into the awareness of your body. So allow in each exhalation to relax your body deeper, your muscles, your bones, your skin. So really scanning for a moment the physical body from the feet, relaxing your legs, relaxing your hips, your lower back, your spine. Relaxing completely your shoulders, the space between your shoulders. Relaxing your collarbone and your chest. Relaxing your upper arms, your elbows, your wrist, your palm. And relaxing each of your fingers. Relax your neck and relax your head. Relax your forehead. Relax your jaw, your teeth, your mouth. Relax your eyes and your eyebrows. Relax your ears, relax your nose. Maybe just allow the lips to close, but the teeth to open, creating that space in your mouth. Relax your throat. And start really enjoying each in-breath and enjoying each out-breath. Enjoy that calmness. And don't forget those little gaps between in-breath and out-breath. Because there is where the magic lays. So hopefully we're fully involved with our breathing, but we might have thoughts arising. So when thoughts arise, just let them pass like a cloud on the sky without giving them any energy. They are okay, no judging, no commenting. They are just thoughts. And go back to the awareness of your breath again and again and again. Going deeper into the relaxation, going deeper into yourself. You might even start being aware of your heart rate. Soft and calm. And now, I want you to take your awareness to your heart center. And take your awareness to your heart center and notice what emotions rises. Whatever emotion, and just observe it. Again, if you're commenting or judging, just feel love, self-love. compassion, kindness. But allow the experience. Allow yourself to experience this emotion. And even allow that emotion to grow inside. You can even put a color into the emotion, and colors are not good or bad. Doesn't matter what color, they are always light. So even in a dark emotion, we can put light. So put that light, put that color, and allow in each in-breath that light, that color to expand, the sensation to expand in your chest. And each out-breath, allow that going through your pores, even out of your body. So growing and growing into that emotion. Accepting, loving, kindly. If there are physical reactions of your emotion, if there are tears to flow, if there are smiles to go, allow them. Allow your body to express your emotion. And then we're going to start turning this color and putting more lights. So it's going to be brighter and brighter. And this sensation of compassion and kindness, you're going to start taking over that emotion. So through your self-love and acceptance, you're going to start just changing that color. Again, through the in-breath, we allow that light to grow in the chest. And when we exhale, we allow it to expand out to our body. And you just start feeling more and more this self-love. And whatever it is there to heal, it can be healed now. It can be accepted now. So transmuting into light, as you see smoke going out of your pores, out of your body. Until a moment that you just keep a bigger sensation of calmness, of relaxation. Maybe setting a beautiful intention of being aware of that emotion or whatever emotion rises. Whatever rises, to love it. And we're going to get back the awareness in the breath. And we're going to take a deep breath in. Open the mouth and exhale. And do it a few times. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth. Exhale a few times. Like comforting, hugging yourself with this breath. Enjoying and resting in the present moment. when you're ready, you're gonna start moving a little bit. Fingers, whatever, activate your body. Stretch if you want, blink your eyes open, smile. And come back to us.
Wakey, wakey.
Wakey. Did you get relaxed at least?
Many people might be asleep.
Very much, yeah.
So in those spaces, if you notice, like in those little moments of space between inhale and exhale, they're very comfortable. They can be. If we're suffering of anxiety, they're not going to be so comfortable. No? But we can get to that through breathing. And there is also space between thoughts, right? So that space creates space in our lives. No? So between one thought and the next thought, because I'm sure you have thoughts all the time and it's normal. But there is this space, and this space is the resting, and that space is the healing, and that space is the answer, and that we want to achieve. So even if the spaces are small right now, with practice, as we know, those spaces between thoughts get bigger, and then you can really enjoy more. Not the breath. I'm not talking about the breath. I'm talking about the space between thoughts, between the reaction that we have to, or this commenting or this judging. Slowly gets less and less. Slowly spaces are bigger. And then that can be just that, a meditation technique, just noticing the spaces between thoughts. No, so first you work on your breathing, you work on your relaxation and your body awareness, and then you can work on the space between your thoughts or what emotions those thoughts are bringing. And then once you're done with like the meditation, then you can analyze and think where that comes from and what you can do to deal with that. Accepting that, basically.
Thank you, Rose. I think it was really, really nice. I think that this is something you guys can take literally to your practice freediving. Like your breathe up is literally this time to find this comfort that you just did, you know? So like she just gave you a little gem to take with you to your dives, and all this information about when she was talking about space and actually as she said, we're talking about between thoughts, but we're also talking like if you observe your dives are one big pause of those ones that she was bringing the attention to, breathing one breath and the other one. That long hold that we do through the dive doesn't need to be more than an extension of that time through that same comfort. Yeah. And slowly you will go making that space longer and deeper consequently. But like, I think that you just gave us a huge tool to overcome like discomforts in water, a huge tool to face fears from the moment of awareness, you know? So thank you so much.
Thank you. I think we should do records with your voice and guidance.
I would love to do that.
We could do that.
I'm just open the comments. Sorry, guys, I had the comments off so I don't get distracted because that happens to me. Oh my God!
So many comments.
Hello.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Rose catches up with the comments. Yeah. I'm going to invite you guys, if anyone has any questions in particular that you would like to ask, it's right now the moment to leave the comment, write it there on the comment so that we can see it. And if it is that we didn't answer it through the presentations, but if you have any question in particular, just write it so that we can give you an answer right now.
Thank you so much for trusting and writing down here and sharing with us the fears. I'm just wow now, mind blown. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rohe. Yeah, well, Rohe, it just got into Rohe. Rohe.
Hi.
And thanks everyone, because the ones that are joining us and are following us the whole hour and everything is a lot of repetitive people, which is our big family that we have in Amancay, a lot of them. So thank you so much for always being there and for trusting in what we are doing and how we are doing it, and being interested in the topics we are bringing up. Bueno, I spoke with Roge already, but in general, if more people want different topics or stuff, just let us know that we can just start assembling them for future workshops.
Cool. So I want to thank Rose. I think there are no questions. I think you left everyone very high and very relaxed and with a lot of process already. I think that we gave you guys a lot of information. All the lives that we're doing, you can go back to them on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So if you want to go back through all the information that today Rose talked about, fears and go deeper into it, because we normally need to double check to acknowledge all the information. Feel free to go and look at it. It will be up tomorrow already on YouTube always. So yeah, let's see what. Thank you so much, guys, everyone.
And and use this as a tool, not only in the water, but as a safety daily observation. Use this for your everyday life. Observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, see where they're coming from. Do not judge. Come with a lot of love, and do it in as a daily routine, and it is gonna start changing a lot of your vision through what you think your fears are or your failures are, etc.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. It's so nice to see you. Oh, so much love. We miss you all so much too. And remember that social distancing is, I think that I don't really like that word, because we're just physically distancing. We're not social distancing, we're seeing you all here. So we're physically maybe not connected, but we can be more connected than ever with so many people into ourselves. So it's this beautiful moment, I think, to reach and connect inside and outside. So remember that we are your instructors, and that is forever. So you can always trust us, ask us. We are there for you. Yeah. Do never think that because you did a level 1 and then we're always happy to see you again, to talk to you again, and to help you out if we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And dare to feel, give yourself permission to feel, put that, activate that awareness, use your breath, be aware of your breath, and there you go.
Enjoy. And if you haven't been with us, then you know which path we are gonna let's say, take you through.
Thank you very much, guys. 1 hour and a half.
Yeah,
we appreciate your time immensely, and thank you. We'll see you for our next chat on Friday. Thank you.